Welcome to Movie Magic. I am your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and today's video of the series is about Masters of the Universe, of course, a property that I have no inherent nostalgia for probably pretty obvious reasons. I'm not really old enough to have inherent nostalgia for it, so I kind of went into this more so just curious about what it could possibly be, and looking to hope to have a little bit of fun with it. That was basically all I went into it expecting was, yeah, this will hopefully just be a little bit of a campy fun time. Not going to expect anything more from it. And apparently my expectations were a little bit too high. So I got, I didn't necessarily have my hopes up too high per se. It's just that my hopes got up a little bit more. I didn't really intend to see this in theaters because of the trailers. The trailers were like, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be for me. I don't know how good this movie is going to actually be. But when it came to Prime recently, and I didn't even realize it was on Prime until basically clips from this movie were ending up on Twitter, like all over the place relatively recently. At the time of recording, this video is not coming out for a couple weeks, but in either case, I was seeing a bunch of clips on Twitter that were seeming entertaining enough, and I was like, oh, that must be happening because it hit streaming. Realized it was on Prime. I was like, okay, I guess I'll give this a shot, see how fun it really is, how bad it could possibly be. And let's just say I should have stuck with the Skeletor clips on Twitter, because I was not into this movie basically at all. It was very not good. I did not enjoy myself. Skeletor is, spoiler alert, the only good part of this movie, and he does not have anywhere near enough screen time to make up for how not good the rest of it is, quite frankly. And even though Skeletor is quite entertaining in the movie, it's too little. This movie is somehow pushing 2.5 hours long. It's like 2 hours 20 basically, and I don't know how this ended up anywhere over like 100 minutes. Like it wastes so much time. It does so much nothing with a lot of scenes, and so much of it is just not very well done that I kind of wish I had. I really wish I had those 2.5 hours back. I regret watching this movie, actually. That's how little I enjoyed it. So what are some of the reasons for this? And boy, oh boy, it's most of the reasons, really. You know how I said Skeletor is basically the only part of this movie? Yeah, most everything else is not great. Idris Elba is in this movie, and somehow he does not turn in a very good performance, / his direction or the writing or whatnot is so bad that he doesn't manage to be good. I mean, like, he tries, but, like, that could be the thesis of this entire movie, to be honest. This movie tries so hard, and somehow also nowhere near hard enough, and it just ends up not really working. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's so campy, it's fun because of the camp, and I almost have to wonder if this movie was actually just trying to be so bad it's good, if it was like intentionally going for a tone like that. And if that's the case, then it failed. It tried to be so bad it's good, and it ended up just being so bad. It was no longer good at any point. The writing, not good basically at all. There are plenty of jokes that are like kind of being set up, and they try to pay off at different points in time, and are like, maybe if written a little bit differently, maybe if there was a different voice behind it, I guess, to make the wit come across a little bit better, some more moments could be funny. Skeletor was the only funny character that actually had me chuckling at a few points. There were plenty of other points that I felt like I was supposed to laugh, but I was just rolling my eyes. And I could say the same thing for not just the writing, but for much else as well. Maybe part of the problem with the writing is that a lot of these performances are not good. Jared Leto is the only standout performance. The rest of them are like average at best. And a lot of the writing and character dynamics just don't have any kind. There's no chemistry between any of these people or any of these characters. I know there's meant to be awkwardness. The way that the movie is written, it is meant to be very awkward at plenty of times. I understand that that is intentional, but you can write awkwardness and there still be a chemistry for it to like click in a movie sense. It does not click here. I was rolling my eyes or just straight up cringing, and like I actually frequently paused this movie to like get a grip for like 30 or 40 seconds before I continued. And very many of those times when I paused, I was like, do I just stop the movie here? But I continued going. I continued going for more Skeletor, and then there wasn't enough Skeletor to make up for how much I was not enjoying anything else. So the writing and the acting are not very good. The writing is actually very bad, and the performances aren't good enough to make them, in any way even halfway decent. And the action sequences are mostly not good. I would say like the climax encounter between He-Man and Skeletor, spoiler alert, I guess, question mark, is decent. But again, it's too little too late by that point. By those last 10-15 minutes of the movie, I had already wasted 2 hours with this thing and was long gone waiting for it to be over. That even that climactic sequence was like, it's okay, I guess. The resolution tries to be pretty meaningful. It tries to have a lot of heartfelt moments mixed in there, but because of, again, the writing just is not there to make it really work, and the performances somehow don't make it work. Idris Elba somehow, even though he has arguably the most developed like kind of character performance, there's the most there. If we're talking about the moving sequences of the movie or the attempt at having heartfelt moments, Idris Elba is involved in basically every one of those, and it doesn't work because either he's not turning in a good performance in some of those moments, but it's also the fact that whoever's on the receiving end of his performance is lacks so much chemistry with him that his performance therefore lacks. The action sequences, like I said, aren't very good. Only the climactic one is very good. There's a lot about this that isn't great. The soundtrack is not very good. It does a lot of the licensed music thing in ways that honestly just doesn't work. Like maybe if they had different tracks, it would have worked better. Maybe if some of it was chosen differently, it would have worked better. Any moments of score or whatever that were original to this movie were at best very generic. I just found the soundtrack actually very distracting. It's not even that it was so unmemorable. It was that it was like distracting in a bad way. So that definitely didn't help basically anything. Let's see. I'm gonna actually go ahead and pull up my Letterboxd review that I just did. Not a very in-depth one, just a couple hundred words basically. I talked about the action, I talked about the writing, I talked about the humor just really not clicking at all. Like it's not funny because the writing is so bad. The performances are not great. I talked about the soundtrack being not great. There's not it tries to have heart, but it tries so hard to have heart that it's like doing the wrong thing and no longer has any heart anymore, if that makes sense. It's like it's so far gone that it doesn't actually move in any of the moments when it should and when it tries to. I'm somebody who's very easy to move in movies, like The Sheep Detectives that I just reviewed a couple weeks ago and watched right before this movie. It didn't make me like cry, but it moved me. My eyes watered a little bit at the very end because the thematic content of the movie was solid enough that like it actually moved me. So I was like, yeah, good, solid. Masters of the Universe had a few moments that realistically should have at least evoked some kind of reaction from me other than why am I watching this? And the only reaction that I had is why am I watching this? So I'm very easy to move, and I did not move with this movie, so it failed on that front. So when it's trying to be campy, it doesn't manage to be campy, it just manages to be cringe. That's the other problem, really, is that like when it's trying to be serious, it doesn't work, and when it's trying to be campy, it just comes across as cringe. I was rolling my eyes more than anything else. So that's basically how I feel about Masters of the Universe. I wanted to like this movie, mind you. I did not going into this expecting it to be bad. I did not go into this expecting to not like it. I went into this just hoping for a decent fun time, basically. And usually whenever I go into things expecting for just a decent fun time, I end up having a lot of fun and really enjoying it. That was not the case this time. This is one of those rare instances where I go into a movie with, for all intents and purposes, like basically no real expectations. Just like, yeah, let's see what we get out of this. And it was like not good at all. Yeah, I just did not enjoy myself with Masters of the Universe. I wish I did, but it wasn't worth it. I watched this movie for more Skeletor, and it wasn't worth it. Like I said, I should have just stuck with the Twitter clips of Skeletor, because those little bits and pieces are really the only part of this movie that are any good. So I know I have plenty of friends who enjoyed this movie and thought it was fun for what it was. A couple of them said that they didn't have any like they didn't think it was particularly special. They just thought it was fun. You know, they would have given it like 3 stars. I gave this 1.5 stars, and like 1 full star of that is Skeletor. Um, that is how little I enjoyed this movie. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I don't want to rant for too much longer, and I've basically said my piece. I've said everything that I want to. Thank you for watching this if you did. I personally do not recommend Masters of the Universe. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's worth watching, even for Skeletor. So that's not something that I came out of this expecting. I was hoping that I made my thumbnail, by the way, for this video with the, you know, how bad can it possibly be at the bottom of the screen. I made that thumbnail before I watched the movie, and that was more like the clickbaity, the semi-clickbait type of thumbnail that I make for some of the movies that I watch sometimes. And yeah, no, I was not expecting for that to be manifest in the way that it is today. So whoopsie daisy. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you again for watching if you did. For now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, whatever that may be, because at this point in time, I have zero clue what that could possibly be.